Welcome to DROD'S MMA and Boxing. Keith one-time Thurman is set to face Danny Swift Garcia in a fight where somebody's O must go. And this is my pre-fight analysis and critique. Keith Thurman, he really impressed me a lot in the fight against Shawn Porter. He showed heart, he showed grit, he showed determination, he showed speed, all the characteristics that are needed to being a superstar. And Shawn Porter is a very tough fighter, but Keith Thurman, he used his legs. And for me, he's going to be a stylistic matchup nightmare, for Danny Garcia. He does all the things that Danny Garcia struggled with. Danny Garcia struggled with Lamar Peterson's speed and his footwork, and it's going to be the same thing against Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's counters are remarkable, and I know Danny Garcia wants to come forward. Well, he's playing into his hands. People talk a lot about all his other attributes, but they forget that Keith Thurman is a really good counterpuncher, and for the most part, that's what makes him a very, very tough opponent. Because not only he can fight on his back foot, he can fire off at any time. Now, Danny Garcia can land these strikes on Keith Thurman, because sometimes Keith Thurman get a little bit reckless. His head is up high. He sometimes might come in a straight line, and that's where I believe Danny Garcia will be able to use his counter attacks to be able to take advantage of Keith Thurman. And also, Keith Thurman sometimes is very prideful as well, and he'll get into these slugfests. And for me, I believe in taking away everything and giving them nothing. And so for the most part, he's got to stay disciplined if he's going to want to beat Danny Garcia. He's got all the good skills and good attributes, and he needs to use them. People talk a lot about his body not being able to take body punches. Well, what they fail to mention is that it takes a couple shots. It's not one shot that put him down or hurt him. It's a multiple shots, and he recovers very well. He takes these shots, and what I've noticed about him is that he has heart. He'll take these shots, and most fighters would take a knee or quit. He'll just keep coming forward, and he'll keep landing shots. And it seems like those body punches or those punches that hurt him make him stronger as the round go on. And if you make a mistake like Colossal and them did, you can walk into these nice power punches that will definitely hurt you. And you got to be very careful when doing that against Keith Thurman. And that's why I said he can come forward all he want. You're just playing into his hands. These little steps, these little subtle steps that he does is going to give him Danny Garcia a hard time, because it's hard to really it's going to be really hard, basically, because the timing. I expect Keith Thurman to try to disrupt his Danny Garcia's timing as much as possible. And also his counterattacks are very beautiful, because he's very versatile. Not only is he able to throw like one particular punch when countering, he's able to throw several different kinds, and they often hurt his opponent, and they often knock them out. So that's one thing that I think Danny Garcia, being the smaller fighter, has to avoid doing. But I think he needs to use his jab and try to do his best he can to push Keith Thurman back, if that's what he's trying to do. When he doesn't use his jab, he throws punches from a distance, which gives Keith Thurman ability to see them coming and to counter him easily. He's going to have to take away that space. Not like he did with Lamar Peterson, when he gave him all that room and space. I can't see anyone doing a better job than Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter did an excellent job with taking away his space and overcrowding him and being a pressure fighter. But Keith Thurman did his thing, and he held his own. In fact, it played into his hands, because he was able to land so many powerful counter strikes that hurt and rocked Shawn Porter. So him coming out there and pressuring him, I don't know if he can do a better job than Shawn Porter. That's why I think he should stick to his game. He should stick to what he's good at. He's not a pressure fighter. Danny Garcia is he's a boxer puncher basically. He's very finesse, and he's gonna have to use his boxing ability. I can't see him learning these skills overnight, and that's just my honest opinion about that. But he has to use his head movement as well. I don't think he uses his head enough. If he does, I think he'll be able to really counter Keith Thurman very well, and offset him and offset that timing and prevent him from getting teed off on. Because if he does that, I think it'll make it a little bit harder for Keith Thurman to just come in there and knock him out, and like I said, it'll help him land his strikes. The difference between Keith Thurman and Lamont Peterson is this: Keith Thurman is on his back foot, but he's landing effective shots. He is landing shots, and his intention is to knock you out. He's not in there to try to look pretty and play games. One of the things I noticed with Danny Garcia is that he's not strong in his division. And by him not being strong in his division, it means that I noticed that fights like Robert Guerrero and Lamont Peterson, he was able to land very hard, clean shots, but they had no effects on his opponents. And Keith Thurman is a big boy now. He's filled out very well in the welterweight division. And so it'll be very interesting to see how he handles that size disadvantage, and how well Keith Thurman handled those punches from Danny Garcia. I think he'll handle it pretty well, in my opinion. But this is boxing. Anything can happen. That's why I don't really like to do predictions, because I just give you scenarios and tell you if this person does this and that, this is what's going to happen, because these guys get in there and they might switch up their game plan and do something totally different in there. This is DROD'S MMA Boxing. Leave a comment in the bottom. You tell me who you think will win this fight.